right, welcome back to Shaar HaBitachon. This is our 7th class. Can you believe it? 7th class. Kol Shvin Chavivin. Okay. And Yetz Hashem, tonight what I would like to do is finish the introduction. This is the Amr HaMechaber, the compiler's statement, or compiler's forward before the chapters. So I would like to, God willing, finish this tonight. Okay. We were talking about advantages of bitachon, and that's basically, mostly what the Hakdama, the preface is Rabenu Bachaye is selling you bitachon. He's explaining to you what it's going to do for you. And I guess that kind of makes sense, because if you don't yet have bitachon, you're probably in a more self-serving mode. So you want to be sold on what bitachon is going to do for you. After you get bitachon, don't worry. You're not going to be worried about what anything can do for you, because you already know everything is already done for you. But at any rate, while we're still being initiated, Rabenu Bachaye is telling us the advantages of bitachon. Okay. So we spoke about financial advantages. We're going to continue now. This is somewhat related to financial advantages. These are advantages having to do with the kind of work that you'll do. Let's take a look inside. Umeihen, and among the advantages, other advantages, menuchas hanefesh v'haguf min ha'maisim hakoshim ha'mloches ha'meyagos as hagufes. Freedom of the soul and of the body from tiring occupations and from professions that exhaust the body. V'azoi v'avedas hamlochim v'chukehem v'chamas anshehem. It also allows you to avoid working for the king, or enforcing their laws, or oppressing their subjects. The Pas Lechem, which is one of the commentaries we've mentioned before, says that somebody who's really desperate for money is going to go get a job working for the king. And it's tough work, because the king is very demanding. But, it's sort of... Somebody explained to me, by the way, why don't we have a draft? Why don't we have a draft? During the Vietnam War, God forbid, but, there was a draft. Why don't we have a draft? So actually, an economist explained to me that poverty is the draft. That people who are from lower class families, working class, they're attracted to the military because you get a scholarship and you get a job that gives you health care. And so when a person's really desperate for money, they'll go do something crazy like work for the government, work for the king. But if you have bitachon, you're not going to do that. You're not going to take that kind of work. V'peiteach b'Hashem, and the person who trusts in Hashem. Okay. Toivea mesibas hateref. He's going to choose a source of livelihood. Whatever provides him more tranquility, physically speaking, v'shem toiv loi, and a good reputation, u'penai lalibai, and a free heart, u'mashu hu mefik yeser l'chayves teirasaim yeser emunasei, and that also which gives him more time, free time, not to waste, but to whatever's going to give him free time for his religious duties, and is also in harmony with his values, with his religious beliefs. Because no cause in the world can add to what is allotted to him or take away from it. Rather, it's all a decree from Hashem. Like it says, for not from the east or from the west, and not from the wilderness is one lifted up, but rather it is God who judges. This is the only thing that lowers a person or brings him up. The Omar, and it also says, he makes me lie down in green pastures, he guides me beside calm waters. We've had that pasuk before from Kapitel Chof Gimel of Tehillim. Rabenu Bachaye brings it again. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. When a person is choosing a livelihood, sometimes he feels that he has to make compromises. religious compromises. And that's from a lack of bitachon. If he would have bitachon, he would know that there's no way that he would have to do something in order to make a livelihood that would force him to make a compromise in his Yiddishkeit. But in order to have that mentality, he has to realize that nothing he does is going to increase or decrease the amount that's allotted to him. He calls it the chayk, the amount that's allotted to him. And we know this from the Gemara. It tells us that a person's parnosa is already allotted to him on the Yom Adin, on Rosh Hashanah. And nothing he does can add to it or take away from it. But if you don't have bitachon, so you feel like you have to make those compromises. The Pas Lechem, we'll mention again the Pas Lechem, he mentions a specific example. He says, some people have jobs that don't allow them to pray with a minyan. He says people who are farmers, or they work in a remote area, so they can't daven in a minyan every day. It's funny because the obvious were dafke re'etzayin, so they would be isolated. I guess that was before minyanim. At any rate, there's a letter in the Igros Kodesh. I should mention, the Lubavitcher Rebbe answered thousands and thousands of correspondences in his lifetime, and many of those correspondences were published. Some with names, some without names. There's a letter that's in the Igros Kodesh, Chelik Gimel, Volume 3. The whole Igros is, a whole bookshelf. But this is in Volume 3, and it's a letter from Yud Dalid. It's a letter from Yud Dalid Menachem of Tavshin Yud. So this is actually before the Rebbe officially accepted the Nesias. And, it starts, Shalom Uvracha, greetings and blessings, Remind al Machtove, in answer to your letter. And the Rebbe then sort of recaps what the person wrote to him about. And basically this is a person who, it seems he's a sheikhet, and he needs to say Kaddish. It seems his father passed away, Le'aleinu. And to take the job, he wouldn't be able to say Kaddish. There wouldn't be a minyan where he's going. And it's interesting. The letter is a little over a page, and for most of the full page, the Rebbe explains, why it's okay, he should take the job, or he can take the job, and that he has brothers who are also saying Kaddish, and what he can do at the time of minyan instead of davening with the minyan. And the Rebbe even mentions, Hine kama dvarim hetiru Chazal mipnei parnasasa shel adam. The Rebbe mentions Chazal gave certain hetadim for parnasa. Okay, and that's like 90% of the whole page. The letter is like a page and a drop more. And then at the very end, the last paragraph of the letter, the Rebbe says, after the Rebbe tells him, it's okay, we can be flexible. At the very end of the letter, last paragraph, the kol hanal, and everything that we just said, mipnei she'eni yoidea matzove be'inyan midas habitachon, is because I'm not sure of your standing when it comes to bitachon. Avol im chozakhu bezeh, however, if he, meaning the person he's writing to, he's using the polite third person, if he's strong in this area, meaning bitachon, ubetmimus, and he is whole of heart, pure of heart, yechapis achrei kli leparnosa, and he'll look for a vessel for his parnosa. By the way, the diuk there, you don't get a parnosa, you get a kli for a parnosa, and the Eibishter puts the parnosa in the kli. We spoke about that in an earlier lesson. So if he'll have strong bitachon, and he'll look for a better vessel for his parnosa, yitin lo Hashem yisborech parnosase, Hashem will give him livelihood, but makom sheyesh minyan v'chulu, and a place where there is a minyan v'chulu, etc., meaning not just a minyan, but everything he needs religiously. V'yuchol akayim kechol hamuto olav b'inyanim hanal, and he'll be able to do everything that is incumbent upon him that we mentioned before. So it's an interesting letter. The Rebbe is saying, technically, okay, there are hatadim, and you have to make a living, and that's all true. We're not saying that that's not a function within Yiddishkeit, but we're also saying at the same time, there's something called bitachon, and if you're strong in your bitachon, you're not even going to need those hatadim. You won't need them, because the Eibishter will work it out to give you your parnasa without having to make religious compromises. Umehen, and among the further benefits or advantages of bitachon, miut tsar nafshe b'mischare, a reduction of aggravation in doing business. Ve'im tisakev etzle pragmatio, if he is lacking business, ayim la yuchel ligbeis chayvai, or he's not able to collect a debt that's owed to him, ayim yifga'ehu chali begufay, or let's say he gets sick, he has to miss work. None of these things are going to aggravate him. They're not going to bother him. Because he knows ki habera yisbarich, that the blessed Creator misakin inyone yeser mimenu. Wow, he's fixing things for him better than he could fix for himself. Hashem chooses a better good for us than we could choose for ourselves. Like it says, Ach lelekim demi nafshi ki mimenu tikvasi. My soul, wait quietly for God, for my hope comes from Him. In other words, we're speaking to ourselves. Demi nafshi, I'm speaking to my nefesh, I'm speaking to myself and say, shh, just wait for it. Just wait for it. Hashem's going to do amazing things, greater than you could have pictured on your own, greater than you could have asked for on your own. Just let Hashem do His work, and it's going to be great. This, by the way, is a very stirring Chassidish nigun. Ach lelaikim. Okay, we're not going to sing it here, though. But maybe at the end, if we have time, you're going to get to hear my singing. Okay. Dei minavshi. Okay, you're going to hear it at the end, or not. I don't know if that's a threat or a promise. Okay. I wanted to share something else also connected to this. There's a little book, and I call it a little book, not because it's physically little, but the Rebbe called it a seferol. The Rebbe once referred to his own Sefer HaYemim as a seferol. And simply, why is it called a seferol? Because every entry is just a short little, it's just short little paragraphs. And, each day is just a short little thing, a paragraph or two, short little entries. Okay, but I wanted to read to you the entry from Daled Menachem Av. It's interesting, the letter from the Igros we read was from Yud Daled Menachem Av. This is the Hayem from Daled Menachem Av. I don't know what the connection is, but you could ask Rabbi Zelig, and he figures out the connections of all the Hayem. Wrote Sfarim on it, which are fascinating. Okay. Hayem Daled Menachem Av. Mit der größter Haravanye kann man nicht verdienen kein ein Cent mehr, wie viel Hashem Yisborach hat abgestellt. With the greatest effort, no one can earn one more cent, one more penny than whatever was allotted. As der und der Mensch soll verdienen, whatever it was set that this person, der und der Mensch, this person is supposed to be able to earn. Men bedarf ton wie viel es is nötig. We have to do what is required. That means a kli in derech hatava. We spoke about that in the earlier lessons. Yeah, there has to be a shtadlis. Yeah, you have to buy a lottery ticket to win the lottery. You have to show up to a job. You have to do things in the natural way. Yeah, for sure. Aber men muss gedenken, you have to remember. Die ganze Arbeit, that all of the work, meaning the regular work, b'derech hatava, the shtadlis you're doing, is mer nit via toffel. It's just secondary. So what's the iker? Der iker is, the main thing which determines the parnasa, the bracha von Hashem Yisborach, the blessing from Hashem. Und die bracha verdient men, and how do you earn the blessing? The blessing is earned when man is a erlich hayid, when you're a good, God-fearing Jew. Which means what? Tefillah b'tzibur, shmir Shabbos b'hidur, kashrus b'ashgocha gedela, chinuch habonim by melamdim erlich hayidin. We'll say it in English. Davening with a minyan, keeping Shabbos in the most beautiful way, kashrus with very meticulous supervision, Jewish education for the children, with proper Jewish educators who themselves are God-fearing Jews. That's the Hayemim from Daled Menachemov. Okay. What did we get up to? Oh, Achla Lakim Demi Nafshi. And then I started singing. Okay, fine. And then you were saved from that. Fine. Umehen, and among them, and among the benefits, further benefits of Bitachon, Simchosei b'chol inyan sheyatak elov, joy in whatever situation he is placed in. V'im yeh keneged tivai, and even if it will be against his nature, mipnei bitchayne belakim, because of his trust in Hashem, that Hashem would only do that which is good for him in every matter. He's not going to worry. He's going to be besimcha. He's going to be happy, no matter what situation he's placed in, even situations that are against his nature. It's interesting, by the way. The Neder B'Kodesh explains another pirush in this. This, I think, might resonate with a lot of people. What does it mean he has simcha, no matter what situation he was placed in, even if it's negativa, even if it's against his nature? So Neder B'Kodesh explains against his nature a little bit differently. He says, even if your life experiences make it difficult to be naturally happy. I mean, the truth is, there are experiences that are more challenging, and there are lives that are more challenging, and not everyone is up against the same challenges. And it may take extra courage to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But Bitachon will give us that ability, that perspective to see hope, to see goodness, even if it goes against what we are assessing. Somebody once told me that a pessimist is an emes hecheshbon mit a falshe maskana, meaning he's collecting data. He's not delusional. He's not out of touch with reality. The data is real data, but he's coming to a falshe maskana. He's coming to an erroneous conclusion, which is that everything's terrible and the world is a random place, a cruel place, a cold place. And Bitachon is what allows the person to, even when the data is coming in and the data is making, seeming to present a certain conclusion or lean us toward a certain conclusion, with the Bitachon he can say, no, that's not correct, that's not so. Everything's good and Hashem is taking care of me, even if it's negativa, even if it's against the situation that he's in, or a natural way of assessing the situation that he's in. And I thought that resonated with me at least. Okay. And then the Rabenu Bachaye gives a mashal, a beautiful mashal for this. And it's not a mashal that we're unfamiliar with, actually, but he's actually one of the originators. So if you've heard this mashal before, really, it goes back to the Rabenu Bachaye. He's not being derivative. He's not being trite. Those who have repeated it are repeating what Rabenu Bachaye has said. Remember, this sefer is 1,000 years old, amazingly. Okay, you just see how Torah is so ageless and eternal. We have a sefer here that's 1,000 years old, and other than the alchemy reference, which is maybe a little bit of an anachronism, but emotionally, this stuff is so contemporary and so resonant with us, just with our experience of life. And anyways, okay, so the Rabenu Bachaye gives us a mashal. He says like this: the person's going to be besimcha no matter what situation he's in. Kashet tase ha'em, like the mother does, ha'chaymelis livna, when she takes care of her child, her infant, b'rechitzasei, bathing the infant, v'chitulai, and diapering him, ukshirase, and swaddling him, vatarase, and unswaddling him, al korche, against his will. The baby doesn't always want these things. He doesn't always appreciate it, and he surely didn't ask for it. And she does it anyway. You know why? Because she loves him. She's taking care of him. And the baby thinks something's being done to him. Sometimes he's uncomfortable. He doesn't like it. But ultimately, his mother is taking care of him and taking very good care of him. Kamesha Amr David olav Shalom, like David HaMelech says in Tehillim, Im loy shavisi v'demamti nafshi kagomol alei imay kagomol olai nafshi. Surely I have stilled and quieted my soul. Again, this is similar to the Achla Lakim Demi Nafshi. Being just to be quiet, just to wait, just to be patient. Don't react. You know what they say? Don't just do something, sit there. Sometimes the adrenaline rush comes, and that's the animal response. That's an animal fight or flight survival mechanism. We gotta do something. You know what? You don't. Relax. Be quiet, be still. Achla Lakim Demi Nafshi. I'm just gonna hold tight and see what happens. Or imle shavisi v'demamti nafshi, like David HaMelech is saying here. Just to let my soul be quiet. And he says the exact mashal. Kagamo alei imay, kagamo alai nafshi. Like a weaned child with its mother, my soul is with me like a weaned child. So we have to know Hashem is taking care of us at all times. We can relax. We can be patient. It's a relief. It's just, we don't have to carry that burden. We can do God's work, not his job. What is God's work? Doing God's work. Acts of goodness and kindness. Mitzvahs. God's job? Running the world and taking care of everybody. We don't have to do that. We don't have to run the world and take care of everybody. He's taking care of all of us. Like a baby. Like a mother takes care of a baby. And I'll tell you something even more. He's the people that you think that you need to take care of, a little codependent action going on, that you think you have to play God in their lives and take care of them. I want to tell you something. Just like Hashem's taking care of you like his baby, and like his only baby, because he's infinite. So he's taking care of you like his only baby. He's taking care of your babies like they are also his only baby. And God has no grandchildren. You ever heard that before? Sometimes we as parents, again, this is the animal survival mechanism, the fight or flight, that primal instinct to take care of our children. It can make us so neurotic. And we have to know something. Let go and let God, even in parenting, especially in parenting. And God has no grandchildren. So we think our children are our children, and we're Hashem's children. So our children are the children of God's children, so they're God's No, they're not God's grandchildren. Hashem has no grandchildren. They're all his only children. Each one of us is an only child, being taken care of like a mother takes care of a baby. And by the way, for those of you who wonder why we never have feminine metaphors for divinity, right there we do. We compare Hashem's love and nurturing care for each of us like the love of a mother, like the love of a mother. Feminine energy, feminine nurturing. Okay, I want to just mention one more thing, and that is that when we speak about really letting go and letting God and understanding that Hashem surely is taking care of us, there are degrees of intensity and depth to which we can grasp that reality. But I just want to mention something to you from one of my favorite svarim, which is my euphemistic or understated way of saying my favorite sefer. This is called Likutei Amorim Tanya. This is from the Alter Rebbe, the Bala Tanya. You know who wrote the Tanya, by the way? The Bala Tanya. You know who wrote the Shulchan Aruch? The Bala Tanya of Shulchan Aruch. Okay, right. That Shulchan Aruch. Then there was another Shulchan Aruch who was written. There was a Shulchan Aruch written by the Mechaber. You know why he's called the Mechaber? Because he was Mechaber the Shulchan Aruch. Okay, at any rate. In Igeres HaKodesh, which is the fourth chelik of Tanya, there's a Siman Yud Aleph, chapter 11, called Laskil Chabina. Laskil Chabina is known as one of the most demanding but most powerful messages in all of Tanya. And more or less, what does it say over there? It says that if a person will understand that Hashem is creating the world something from nothing every single second, then it's impossible to ever be out of sorts. It's impossible to ever feel annoyed or pained. Because if you understood that Hashem is making something from nothing every single second, then how could you possibly pass judgment on this perfection? You know, it's cheesy, but they say every moment is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Well, if you understand that Kabbalistically, every moment is being created at this moment and divinely orchestrated exactly by the will of Hashem. So then it's a gift. It's all a gift. And sometimes it won't feel like a gift. Sometimes it from our limited perspective, it feels negative. But it can't be. It's impossible. It's all good. It's perfection. And whenever we're feeling discomfort with reality, we have to return to that faith in the ongoing creation, the Bria Yashma'ayin, the whole Rega, His Chadshus HaBria, that Hashem is recreating everything, to every detail, every subatomic particle is brand new at every single second. I'll just read to you a few lines from Laskil Chabina so you can get a feeling for it. So he writes, when a man will contemplate in depth and will then picture in his mind how he comes into being something from nothing at every single moment. In other words, he is affected at every moment of his existence by the divine energy that animates him, which is Hashem's chokhmah, the source of life, good and delight, the level of Eden which transcends the world to come. How can he entertain a thought that he is suffering? It is only that because it is not comprehensible, one imagines that he is suffering. In truth, however, no evil descends from above, and everything is good, though it is not apprehended as such because of its immense and abundant goodness at a level which is inconceivable to man. And this is the essence of the commandment of faith for which man was created, to believe that there is no place devoid of him. And in the light of the king's countenance there is life. Accordingly, strength and gladness are in his place, because he is but good all the time. Therefore, first of all, man ought to be happy and joyous at every time and hour, despite the fact that there are changes in a person's life, and truly live by this faith in Hashem, who animates him and acts kindly toward him at every moment. So I just want to conclude with a story. I just heard this story about an hour ago, and from a chassid. And he told me he listened to the first couple of shiurim already, and he's enjoying it, which is a big compliment, because this is somebody who's anyways, it doesn't matter. He's humble too, so I don't want to give any hints. But anyways, he said, I want to tell you a story. And he says, and you have permission to use it. So I texted him back, said, you don't have to give me permission to use it. Listen, when it comes to stories, I'm a kleptomaniac. You tell me a story, that's it. I stole it already, okay? Anyways, I'm kind of with a shinoi maybe, but at any rate. So the Maisa is like this. A chassid came to the Tzemach Tzedek, and he had problems. Specifically, he had problems in business. And the Tzemach Tzedek told him, you should learn this Siman Yud Aleph of Igeres HaKedesh, Laskil Chabina, this part of Tanya we were just reading from. He says, you should go learn that, and that'll help. So the chassid, who had business problems, and he asked for help, and the Tzemach Tzedek told him, okay, learn Laskil Chabina. So the chassid says, with a twinkle in his eye, he says, Rebbe, I'm going to go learn Laskil Chabina, but I think that I'll be able to learn Laskil Chabina a whole lot better if I had 10,000 ruble in the bank. And the Tzemach Tzedek, with a twinkle in his eye, he said, it's taken care of. Gave him a bracha. The guy went out, everything started to fall into place. He made a lot of money, and he became a big gvir, and he was very, very wealthy, and his family became wealthy. And anyways, what's my point? My point is, we're learning a lot about Bitachon now, but the bottom line is, it would sure help to learn about Bitachon if the Eibishter would give us everything we need to make us comfortable. We are human beings. We do have needs: physical, emotional, mental, social. And like Chassidim say, "Bis in Kretschmer darf man euch haben." Until you get to the inn, you need to have something, like every good Jewish mother. She packs you a little, some sandwiches for the plane. Till we get to the Kretschmer, we also need to have. So until the Eibishter is going to give us everything that our Bitachon brings us, the Eibishter should give us something right now already. Everyone here, thank you for learning with me, and Hashem should bless you all with Tov Hanira v'Hanigla. Real, revealed, open, obvious good that you don't have to have any amunah to recognize.